Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Yeah, I do like that music. And Sean, thank you for that. And like Sean just said, you can ask me questions, but there's something you got to do first. You got to call in. So 951-922-3532. We're going to have a really great guest later. Dr. Ponder is going to give us, he's going to talk about financial literacy and a whole lot more strategic-wise or strategy-wise when it comes to keeping ourselves together right now in a lot of different ways. So welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for that retirement. So let's, again, always be thankful. Let me turn on my monitor here. I mean, we do want to see me eventually. For all the friends that we do have, and that we're talking to them now with more on Zoom, Google Hangouts, which I use a lot, Skype, which we're doing right now. And, for years, we have had the ability to talk to each other and look at each other with the technology on our least expensive phones pretty much, but we have not done it much. And, you hear about, what's the new normal going to be when we get out of this? Well, I hope some of that is the new normal. I hope we start doing more face-to-face even when we're not next to each other. So keep calling people, let you know. You can call people you don't know for all I care. Who knows? They might need you to call right now. But we need that to keep sane. So you oughta definitely call me, email me, or visit drheckham.com. That's drhecm.com. And just in case, there you go. I think you can see it. There you go. Oh, there. Anyway, or there's also the educatedretirementradio.com, or if best, just email me. bestloantoday@gmail.com. bestloantoday@gmail. And be sure to jump over to the YouTube channel. Link about halfway down the first page you come to on the website. And there's all kinds of shows in there, separate segments of just the guests themselves, if you only want to hear that part. And shame on you. Just my part by itself, if you've got nothing better to do, or just want to get into some of the historical things we talk about. If you want to get a hold of anybody, all the information is there on those things. So when it comes to the Heckham, or if you want to still call it a reverse, know the facts, compare the numbers. It's much too important an issue to ignore, and you certainly don't want to eliminate it based on not fully understanding it. And if there's ever been a time to really understand it and take that time, it's now. Before that, it was 2008, and now it's now. So once again, call me, 866-955-2233, or just email me at bestloantoday@gmail.com. So hang on. Today we're going to visit with aliens as Lonnie Zamora introduces us to his friends. And then we're going to meet with Methuselah and William Castle on the set of Lady from Shanghai. My day job is at the Loan Source, loan officer. Anyway, my NMLS number is 384565. My Department of Real Estate in the state of California, 972-630. I want and I absolutely need your questions. And remember, we believe in challenging the status quo. And our families and all of us need to be active, not reactive. I guess that would be proactive. So today, in 1964, the very famous Lonnie Zamora UFO incident took place. And here to give us a report once again is NASA NASA Nellie.
Nellie from NASA here. The Lonnie Zamora UFO incident. On April 24th, 1964 at 5:50 p.m., Lonnie Zamora, a police officer from Socorro, New Mexico, chased a speeding car when he heard an extremely loud roar and saw a bluish-reddish flame in the sky. Some distance away. He went to investigate and was about to have a close encounter of the third kind. He said there was a shiny object the size of a large car about 3 feet off the ground. Looked like an oval made of aluminum. No windows, no doors. He noted red lettering, an insignia in the middle of the object, as well as 2 people dressed in white, about the size of small adults, standing on the outside of this UFO. He got out of his car, glanced at the object, heard loud thumps like the shutting of doors when the 2 persons disappeared. The aluminum oval seemed to lift up slowly into the distance, and then it vanished over the mountain. No smoke, no noise, leaving scorched landscape behind. A few tourists had witnessed the object as well. This case has been widely investigated by researchers over the years.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Nellie. Oh, sorry for the clicks. I was clicking back and forth on the microphone for back to me. So that is that is a real famous case. And in fact, today we watched, we're running around, one of the episodes from UFO Hunters, and they were talking about that. But in any case, what is today? Today is National Arbor Day, and that's Plant a Tree Day. So trees do communicate and defend among themselves. And this is fact, as you know, as you probably learned from the 2 towers. So the phrase, knock on wood, comes from, and we've all heard that, never knew where it came from, goes back to pagan times. And these people would knock on trees to summon positive spirits. Let me see, is that going to work? It's kind of like wood. The oldest tree in California is called Methuselah. You thought that was me I was going to talk about. No, that is a pine tree. And of course, my first thought was it had to be one of the giant redwoods. No, it's a pine tree over 4,800 years old in the White Mountains in Inyo County. And with that county, let's go take a break, and don't go nowhere. Thanks. Now, doesn't that music make you think of a smoke-filled room? I remember here in Orange County years and years ago, we used to have a place called the Studio Cafe right at the Balboa Pier, and there'd be saxophones and other things playing. It was only jazz. The fog would be, in the wintertime, would be rolling through the doors. And of course, it'd be smoke-filled because of not only the fog, but because of all the cigarettes. But anyway, welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your home planet, 1490 KMET, the Mighty Met, and www.drheckham.com. That's drhecm.com. Call me 866-955, and let me make sure it shows 2233. And why do you want to call? Because you need to know more about the choices you really have and how to protect what you already have. I have a team of experts that can and will help you, or at least give you advice so you can make up your own mind. Make use of all of us. Call me and I can direct you to anyone who you hear on this show and other shows here, and others in the team that want to be on your team. So whose birthday is it today? It's William Castle's, and maybe you remember we talked about William the other day, but William Castle was born William Schloss Jr., and Schloss sounds a lot like schlock, and he was certainly the king of schlock. Schloss, I guess I'm told anyway here, is German for castle, so he changed his name to Castle. He was orphaned at 11 years old, and at age 15, while watching the live play Dracula, he got acquainted, I guess that was in New York, he got acquainted with Bella, who recommended he become the stage manager for the road company. Talk about luck. At age 23, he moved to Hollywood and became a dialogue director. And I guess in those days you could go to Hollywood and get in the movie industry just by, applying for lots of jobs. But in any case, he began his directing career with very low budget films, starting with 4 episodes of the Whistler film series. He somehow became associated and an associate producer for Orson Welles' Lady from Shanghai. And speaking of Mr. Castle, we saw probably his best, well, maybe not his best known, but certainly a very well-known film that he produced here a little bit earlier, was on TV as I was walking back and forth, Rosemary's Baby. But anyway, he persuaded, now listen to this stuff. This guy's got it. He persuaded Orson Welles to leave him a theater, access to a theater, so to leave him the Stony Creek Theater lease to him, to give him the lease that Orson Welles had. Welles was leaving to film Citizen Kane at the time. And as the king of publicity, listen to this story. I mean, he, meaning William Castle, hired a German actress for a non-existent play called Not for Children. At that point, it was not for anyone, didn't exist. Anyway, he spent a weekend writing the play and having it translated into German. Then he told the newspapers that she had turned down the invitation from the Nazis to be in that play in Germany, which never existed anyway. And Castle, in turn, told the newspapers that she was the girl who said no to Hitler. So he had this new play that he wrote in a weekend, starring the girl who said no to Hitler. And he also broke into this place that he had leased, the theater, before opening, and painted swastikas around. All of this helped so much. The play was a great success after such a string of publicity stunts. Also at the time, a theater guild regulation prohibited a lot of foreign, let's say in this case, a German actor was not supposed to be on an American stage unless he or she had been in the same play in Germany first. And of course, this solved that problem too, since none of it really happened. But he got her on there, and he did really well. His first feature film was Macabre. All the patrons got a certificate for $1,000 of life insurance in case they died of fright during the film. He stationed a nurse in the lobby and hearses in front of the theaters. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. I don't know to what degree this can be seen, but because my video monitor is delayed a bit, but we'll do the best we can. This, of course, can be seen, and this is newspaper advertising exactly for this that happened. And, you got to admit, it's pretty cool. So we spoke about Castle a couple of weeks ago, like I said, and we referenced the Joe Dante film Matinee that really recalled the life of William Castle, framed with the horror of the Cuban Missile Crisis, which I definitely remember as a kid. John Goodman was the quintessential, or a really wonderful, William Castle. And I knew I had it here somewhere. I showed this the other day. This has Joe Dante's signature on it. This is Matinee, and what an amazing, like I said before too, still an extremely, extremely entertaining film. So, of his other films, there was, he had things like Buzzers Up Under the Seats, which he did in The Tingler. Oh, guess what? The Tingler. A Floating Skeleton Over the Crowd in House on Haunted Hill. This is not the original House on Haunted Hill, but I didn't think it was too bad either. And he had such a thing called Coward's Corner, which was a yellow line that people, that were scared had to go behind and get yelled at by the rest of the audience. So it was definitely audience participation. It's told that John Waters really, really loved the Coward's Corner and also learned a great deal from William Castle. And by the way, speaking of John Waters, which I know we weren't, I still have a scratch and sniff card that came with Pink Flamingos. Waters had those scratch and sniff cards given to people watching the film, and there'd be signals on the screen. I think it was color coded as to which area to scratch and sniff. So in Matinee, Goodman told the youngsters that were part of the film, big part of the film, that they, young people, were no more advanced as kids than grown-ups. He said, we too, meaning grown-ups, make things up as we go. And we will best survive only if we do not close our eyes, which he meant not close your eyes in the horror parts of the movie, the scary parts of a horror movie. Definitely words to live by. So I think there's a really good documentary out there made by one of his daughters, so you might want to give a look for it. And you also want to give a look back for this radio program in just a few minutes. Take care and don't go away. How nice. Welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your favorite station. And today also continuing with another birthday, Richard Donner came into this world in 1930. And as you may recall, he was the director of the movies, or Superman. I guess they called it Superman the Movie. So, and it is the first modern superhero film. So just to go pretty quick here, I think we all know what that kind of stuff looks like. I think you remember what he looks like, but this is really a cool book. I got this from my son, Shane, and I don't know how much of that we can see, but remember that building? That was in Metropolis, and a lot of that was brought in for Supermensch. Here's the Supermensch, and on. But Richard Donner himself also did The Omen, Lost Boys, The Goonies. My wife loves that movie, and it seems like it's on television about every other day. It was the first film for Josh Brolin and Sean Astin. Tons of television work he did, including two of the very favorite Twilight Zones out there, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which is possibly the most famous Twilight Zone episode with William Shatner, and Agnes with Love, depicting a love affair between a computer and Wally Cox, not Marlon Brando, as we mentioned. Kind of kind of brought to mind the wonderful masterpiece Kronos, where the guy was almost in love with his computer named Susie. Other people born on this day, and I don't want to take too much more time, with Shirley MacLaine and Barbara Streisand, who was Josh Brolin's stepmama. Also, there's another stuff. He did some X-Men stuff also. Now, also, whose birthday is it today? Michael Parks. So I don't know to what degree. We were looking for, right, Kathleen? He played what instrument? Guitar and sang too? So be it. I couldn't find it. My wife tells me I have an album. Who knows? I probably do. But, you know, he was in a film a couple of years ago that almost nobody except me really liked, that I know of. Although a lot of people do like Kevin Smith. This was a Kevin Smith film called Tusk. It also had an uncredited Johnny Depp in it. And I'm going to say go get it. It takes a little bit of a stronger stomach in some cases, but it's not. It's kind of funny also, and highly recommended. It's also highly recommended that you stick with us. We're going to take a short break so we can come back and spend a long time with Dr. Craig Ponder about finance, about the special situation right now, and the kinds of strategies that will work best.